Guys, I'm taking a look at the Yongnuo's newest line. It's YN-560 is the speed light, and then I'm also taking a look at the transmitters. The transmitters are called the RF-603C, and I bought these a little while back, but I've been using them non-stop, mostly because they just work. I didn't really expect them to work this well. I kind of bought them for a backup, so I had some additional flash triggers and some flashes. But really and truly, these work excellently. So I'm going to run you through them. Everything is manual. That's the only downside to these. But honestly, that's a good way to learn your flash. You're going to learn power, zooms, how to manage those, how you manage distance between you and your subject. And it might take a little bit longer to get set up because they're all manual. But in the end, you're probably going to learn more and you're going to have a better setup. So the only downside is you're going to have to trigger them and set each setting directly on the flash. You can't do any adjustments from your camera. This is basically just has an on-off and then a trigger, and that's it. Now you can put these on your flash and they will fire, but everything is still going to be manual other than the fire. So hooked up to these triggers, let me tell you, there's really only two things that I dislike about them, and one is when you mount a flash to them, the on-off switch is underneath the front part of the flash. And that means in order to turn this unit on or off, I have to actually unmount it from the trigger, and then I can turn it off and then put it back on the trigger. So that's one downside. And the other is these flashes are very good. They have a lock right here, like any of the nicer Canon flashes, but the triggers do not. Now this is not a big problem if you have it mounted to a light stand like this, because it has its own locking base on it, and it's also not a big problem if you mount the trigger directly to your camera, because it's pretty sturdy on there. But if you try to mount the flash onto the trigger for the camera, so you have one camera flash on camera and then another off camera, then you're going to notice that the camera flash is going to wobble a little bit on the camera, and it's tough to hold still. So I wish there was some form of a locking mechanism between the trigger and the camera body. You might be able to buy an adapter that has a lock on both ends. I'm not sure, I haven't found one yet. If I do, I'll let you know. So in practice though, these work very well. I'll go ahead and trigger them. They both should be set up and ready to go. I'm not sure if the shutter speed on the video is going to be fast enough to show this. Looked like it worked. So yes, both fired properly. I haven't had any mistriggers or anything like that. They all work very well. And the only things that I would say is there's a couple missing features that would be nice. For example, there's no low battery light, so you got to kind of monitor the flashes. I put a fresh set in anytime I go out to a shoot, not a lot of money, and then you never have to worry again. And normally that'll last an entire shoot, no matter what you're shooting. If you have to, halfway through it, throw in a couple other AA batteries, not a problem. The flashes take AA batteries, that's nice. The triggers, these triggers take AAA batteries, that's great. There was another set of triggers that took some specialized, those kind of batteries that look like a nickel, and it was very tough to find those kind of batteries. These are AAAs. Buy huge packs and you can throw them in there. I've been running these for multiple shoots actually. I haven't had one go out yet, so it has pretty good battery life on it, I would say. They also, it's hard to get them open, but they do have, I can't even get it open, but they do have a thing that comes down over the flash for if you're shooting, here it is, for if you're shooting for a wide angle, and then also a bounce, so if you needed to, you can get a little bit of bounce out of that. Also, one thing that's nice is they do only go flat, they don't shoot under, but you do get full 90 here, and you do get another 90 degrees on this side and a 180 on this side. So between that, you should be able to get your flash position anywhere that you like, no matter how you're shooting this. So overall, definitely like these models. They work great. If you started out with these models, you could eventually use these as your backup flashes to light someone from the back, throw some Canon flashes on the front, anything like that. They can light up backgrounds if you wanted to get a white background. They'll be good forever. I don't think that you'll ever have to get rid of them, even if you upgrade to the Canon 580s, Canon 430s, or even the newest 600. You're still going to want some of these just for lighting your backgrounds or anything like that. They do not do high-speed flash. I wouldn't mind a high-speed sync, and that's only right now really with Canon models, and then also you have to use a cable for that, or you have to use some other special RF. Well, actually I don't even think you can do RF on this. So, but it will not work with high-speed sync. It does work well triggering it with an on-camera flash. If you go out in the very bright daylight, you might have some issues because the sun is already pretty bright, but so far I haven't had any issues with it. But I use the triggers for it. Triggers work really well. You get them in 2 packs, so I have one on my camera, 2 on these flashes, and I have 1 as a backup just in case something went wrong. Or if I got a 3rd flash, I can use them that way. So these will also fire a Canon flash. So if I use a Canon flash on the front and then use these 2 as side lights or backlights. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Definitely recommend them. I'll put some links on the bottom to these flashes on Amazon. That's where I picked them up. No problems at all from any of them. So have a good one.